YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the AGE Gundam AGE-2 Dark Hound from Gundam AGE. Now, those who don't know, I am a big fan of the Gundam AGE series, and I definitely love most of their kits. And this was one of the few last kits that I haven't reviewed yet, so here it is, the Gundam AGE-2 Dark Hound. Now, among most fans, or no, I mean not fans, but most people don't like the Gundam AGE series, but despite that, it seems like people do love the Gundam AGE-2 Dark Hound for some reason. Maybe it's because of the color, or maybe it's one of the, I think it's the only non-Universal Sentry mobile suit that's actually a pirate themed other than the Crossbone Gundam, so maybe that's why. I mean, granted, there is the G Cyphos, but they're technically on the same section or side, so I guess you could say that. Alright, so currently you're seeing the mobile suit in its Strider mode, or simply in Universal Sentry terms, it's Wave Rider mode, if you want to call it that. Yeah, so because most of this transformation is very simple, and despite how this looks, it is technically a parts former. There's only one piece that you need to actually swap out, but other than that, it's pretty much transform on its own. And technically you can transform without using that piece. It's just the leg sides on the back that would look awkward. So once we start the review, we're going to start with the mobile suit form. I'm going to basically transform this back to its mobile suit mode, and yeah, I'm not going to show you guys the process because it's pretty simple and you might have seen it multiple times at this point. Alright, so what you're supposed to get, of course, is obviously the mobile suit itself, or the Wave Rider itself, or Strider mode itself, the Gundam AGE-2 Dark Hound. What you're supposed to get other than that are these stuff. So number one, the Beam Saber effect parts. You get 2 of them, and you get 2 Beam Saber hilts, which are actually stored inside the back skirt of the armor. Number 2 are these wires. Now technically this comes as a single wire. I cut them in half because yeah, one is too long. So I cut them in half, and yeah, these are for the ankor shot effects. And then we get some hands. Now currently on the kit itself, I'm currently using the multi-purpose hand for left and right. But for the left hand, you get an open hand for this one, and then another fist hand only for the left for some reason. I might need to recheck some parts, but yeah, you only get a fist hand for the left hand for some reason. And then this part, which is actually the leg connector, the leg connector or connection part, which is the part that you need to swap out when actually you're transforming. And then here we have a sticker sheet. As you can see, I did not use most of them. The ones I actually did use is number 1, the eyes. Number 2 are the camera for the lance shot on the weapon. And then these are all the ones I didn't use. These ones are this sticker I really hate. This is basically the shoulder area. I'm going to show you guys where you're supposed to put it, which is very odd and makes it pretty much messy. Here we have the skull. Now currently the piece comes in gray, or kind of a metallic grayish kind of part, well, mostly gray, and they tell you to put a sticker on top of it, and I extremely hate doing that, so I just panel line the eyes and these black lines on the gray part, and it turned out okay. And then here we have this really dark green sticker, which is actually for the right eye, which is basically like a pirate theme going on. So I'll show you guys what I mean by that. And here we have, this is the least sticker I have not been expecting. This is actually for the chest section where the AGE system used to be. You have to put a skull kind of thing on them, and then on the skull eyes there's like a Vulcan section, and these are for those stickers. But once again, I did not use these. I just tried to color them, which did not turn out too well. And then other than that, some leftover piece are number 1, some polycaps. Nothing too special of that. And then here we have, as you can see from the distance, we have some of these leftover parts. So 4 of them are technically the same parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These parts that look like polycaps are just plastic. These are for the wing binders for the original Gundam AGE-2, as far as I can remember. So nothing too special. And then here we have the original AGE system for the chest, because once again, the Gundam AGE-2 Dark Hound no longer has the AGE system. It got this. When it was on the SP colors, the white version of the Gundam AGE-2 normal, it got heavily damaged and then was, scavenged by the pirates, and then yeah, been modified. And spec wise, I heard it's actually technically better than the original AGE-2 normal. And then here we have, what is this? Oh yeah, well, this one's not technically a leftover piece. This is basically to cover up the hole on the bottom section of this piece, if you want to do so. But I'm not really too bothered by that. So yeah. And then finally, well, not finally, some parts from the head. So this is the top of the head part of the Gundam AGE-2 normal, and then here I believe these ones are the original eye sections. Of course, they're not technically supposed to be black; they have to be red, I believe, or something like that. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for the leftover parts. So considering being a variant, it doesn't have much leftover parts, and I'm not going to do any comparisons. Number one, because I cannot find my AGE-2 normal. Number two, this thing has pretty good amount of differences, so yeah. Then you think. So, because at first when I was not really into this mobile suit, I only saw this was literally a black version of the Gundam AGE-2, but turns out it was never like that. Alright, so we're going to get on with the review, so I'll be right back with the mobile suit mode. Okay, I'm back with the mobile suit mode. Okay, so you can see currently one arm is not attached, because that is why, the main reason for that is because I wanted to show you guys what I meant by these stickers. So if you, for those who already know, like basically when you transform, you have to take the arm apart, and then do this, and then fold this up like this, and then reattach. So you can see there's this hole right over here, which is actually, I'm not sure how many of you guys actually remember, but when the AGE-2 actually transformed, they can fire some of these beam guns for, like a beam machine gun kind of thing from this hole. So what you're supposed to do is apply these stickers. If you take it apart, now currently it doesn't have a hole there, but when you take it apart, it actually does have a hole like that. And then you're supposed to apply it there, and it usually turns out very messy. Yes, I have tried the AGE-2 normal, AGE-2 double bullet, and usually it doesn't turn out very well for these ones. So yeah. And yes, I do have the AGE-2 Magnum as well, so yeah. Alright, so I'm going to reattach this, and I'm not sure if I think I forgot to mention, but if you saw this, the beginning was on the Strider mode, and you get this action base. And this is the typical action base that you do get with a lot of AGE kits, and then you have these sections here where you can actually store in the leftover hands, usually only 2, so keep that in mind, like that. And yes, I actually did think I thought I did lose a hand because of that aspect. And then here is that part where you have to use when your part's forming. Sorry about that, nut mark. So yeah, so this is mostly I'm not really sure if they had to make it this big, but basically you have to use this in order to make the legs spread a little bit wider when you transform. If you just use the typical part, it's going to be very awkward because the legs are going to be very close, and in the Strider form, it looks very awkward if you do so. Alright, so let's get on to the review. So let's start with the head. Now, at first I wasn't a big fan of this look when I was a kid, but now I am a big fan of it, how it looks. So the head. So here's the eye patch I was about to mention. Yeah, I couldn't think about the word eye patch for a while, but yeah, here's the eye patch. And now you're supposed to use that dark green sticker on the eye patch, but that was just too dark to the point where I think it would not be able to be seen properly. So I decided to use a metallic green Gundam marker. Well, I think it turned out okay, although I might need to apply some more to the edges to make sure I get that proper look. And then on the skull here, you can see it's now on my camera. It may look a bit white, but it's actually more grayish. So instead of just applying the sticker on top of it, I just color the eyes and then the lines on the bottom. I basically was a panel lining marker, and it turned out very well. So yeah, and the head is definitely obviously different from the Gundam AGE-2 design. Definitely has a more pirate look in it, and definitely has a very good amount of color separation. You can see the chin. There's the 2 color tone of the chin, and then the mouthpiece is also a different color. Definitely love that aspect. And then so the head articulation can go down that much, up that much, and then 360 should be no problem as well. And the neck joint is a polycap, so keep that in mind. Okay, and then the shoulder articulation pretty good. It can go forward and backward like that. And now this section, the cape section, or was the wing binders, was the anchor shot, can go 90 degrees to the side, which does also help out to make the arm go 90 degrees to the side. And since the main arm is also connected to a peg, a 360 twist is possible. Now the thing with AGE-2 kits is that usually their joints are very tight on the arms, and this one is no exception, very tight. But you do get a double jointed bend, so that's very good. And those who are curious like how the anchor shot is connected, it's just clipped on like that, so you can just slide it in, and there you go. I'll just take one out for now to save time. And then on the other arm, yes, I have the main weapon, which is the lance of the AGE-2 Dark Hound. I forgot the name of this. Sorry about that. But yes, this is instead of the dots rifle or the dots, yeah, just instead of the dodge rifle, it turns into a spear, but that doesn't mean it has no longer any long range weapons. If you've seen the show, it can actually fire like a beam machine gun from these small holes, like this one, and this one. I think that's 3. And then on the bottom section is that camera sticker I've been talking about. So it's right over there. Kind of a awkward position to put it there, but yeah. But I really do like this lance. I mean, I love the length of it, and I do like how the connection is done on the hand. Of course, it still uses the same connection, but I think the handle got longer. Because I remember the AGE-2 normal, the handle was very short, which made it feel really awkward holding it. But it still worked, but awkward. But yeah. Okay. And then let's see the main body. The main body has pretty good articulation. Well, not really actually. But it has some other function for the transformation. I would like to mention that. So it doesn't have any ab crunch, but it can go 360. The middle section connection is actually a polycap ball joint, so keep that in mind. And then if you look at the chest, the AGE system is no longer there, but still we have a skullish face Vulcan section. But yeah, I don't think it's actually a skull. And then you can actually lift this section up to reveal a hole for the transformation. This is where the rifle or the DOTS lance, the DOTS lance actually gets connected. And yeah, I said that was a pretty good aspect. And if you're not going to color like me, this is where you have to put those Vulcan stickers right over here. And I'm not a big fan of putting stickers on non-flat surfaces. Okay, and then let's look at the front skirt. The front skirt section, this thing comes in a single piece with the 2 ball joints, but I separated them for this time, so you can do that as well. The side skirts move pretty well, and then these wings are also supposed to move if you want to do so. And then the back skirt also moves, and here is one of the beam sabers. Now, I believe when you're playing the old PSP game, the Cosmic Drive or something like that, I believe these beam sabers were actually colored white. I could be wrong on that game, but yeah, apparently it's supposed to be gray, or at least on the HG kit. So the back skirt also moves pretty well. And then if you look at the legs, we have a nice side swivel going on, and then we have a 90-degree up front movement, and then we have a double jointed bend. And then you can go to the side 90 degrees with no issues at all. And your feet are your typical ball jointed feet, but with an amazing pivot. Yeah, I think that's what you call it. And then a toe bend to the down, but that's mostly for the transformation. So, yeah. Come on. There we go. Alright, so let's see its accessories. Or its more other equipment. So, as I mentioned, this thing comes with a beam saber. I'm just going to show you guys one example. You can attach it and boom. Your typical beam saber, and then you can just slide it into the hand, and it can hold it with no issues at all. It's actually pretty stuck in there, so it won't fall off that easily. So you don't need to worry. Number 2 is let's go with the DOTS lance now. It's pretty much a beam saber, a beam rifle type weapon, but instead of a actual rifle, it's just a lance. So you can see if you're having trouble, you can always extend this section down and then move the handle. So you can see the handle is definitely longer. I remember the handle could not even go through the entire hand. And this is not a trigger finger, this is a multi-purpose hand, so which makes it even more easier for you guys to use. You got some weapons, you gotta do the annoying where you have to disassemble the hand and then reattach it. Of course, there's one thing I just don't understand, even up to this point, is this part. I really don't know. I mean, you have to put this here and then attach it, which makes it sometimes harder. I find it easier to just not use this. I mean, even in the transformation, I don't think it has a big, it doesn't have a really big role in it. So if you're having trouble, just get rid of it, and there you go. You can attach it more easily. Of course, the only guess I can think of is to position it into a certain angle. But yeah, I think a little bit more extra movement wouldn't be harmful. Okay, I'm going to just take off the hand for now, just to save time. And finally we have the anchor shot. So you get 2 of these, the other one is on the other wing, and then you can detach this section. And then even without the claw, this thing makes a pretty good, nice, a beam gun, to be honest, or a pistol. I really do like this design, and once again, you can just slide it into the hand and you have no issue at all. You don't need to do the annoying disassemble the hand part. And then what you can do is, number 1, you can attach the wire onto the hook or claw, whatever you want to call it. Now, the way how this thing works is, it works like an anchor, but if you, in the anime series, the moment he catches a enemy with this anchor, he pulls the trigger and then it shocks the enemy. So that's a very interesting weapon. Something that we don't usually see. And yeah, we have the anchor shot. It works pretty well. Now, keep in mind, I cut mine in half, so if you're going to use a single line, it's going to be very long, and at that point, I'm not sure if the claw can hold, I mean, the wire can actually hold the claw. Sometimes if it's too long, it can go like down like that. And that's pretty much it for the review. So, and because also another different part is that now in the AGE-2 normal, the wing binders will be connected on front and back. Now this one's actually on the side, so you have more movement, and it doesn't actually hinder the arm that much. The AGE-2, that hindered a lot of the arm movement, so this one is definitely a plus. And yeah, if you really like the Dark 2 AGE Hound, I mean Gundam AGE-2 Dark Hound, I definitely recommend it. In HG form, it's very good as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Master Grade is even better, but if you want a smaller version, this is your choice. Really love the quality, really love the looks and color. Granted, there are some parts that you might need to color or panel line, but those are very minimal stuff. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the Gundam AGE-2 Dark Hound. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave me a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time!